Hey, everybody. Oh, just getting going here. Hopefully, yep, little green. Yep. Hopefully, y'all can hear me. I was at a open house for my son's college, or the college that my son will probably be going to. So, getting a little later start. Cheers, everybody. How y'all doing? I am going to start off with a little touch up today. So this is the uh, Racetrack Scenics. This is Drip. This is the Esso man. And when I cut these out, hey Robert, hey Kara, how you doing, man? Or guys, sorry, both of you. When I did this guy, I was careful with cutting, but not maybe as careful with cleaning up the edge here. So all around the edge, maybe you can't see. I don't know if you can see or not. So obviously the guy was on white paper. So I went around the border or the backing, the wood backing that I put this on. This is a wood backed. It's a little hot. I know the exposure is a little wonky, but hey everybody, how you doing? 16 people. Hot damn. Thank you all very much for showing up. I really appreciate it. So I wanted to show kind of a Jared A. Kevin, kind of a little bit of a cheat or a hack, whatever you want to call it, to get the edge to clean up just visually when you do these Racetrack Scenics buildings, or in this case the drip guy here. You can take a black marker, and basically what you're doing is just tricking the eye to not see the edge of the paper that you cut or the edge of the wood, because there's a nice black border around all of the figure here. So if you just go around it with the black marker, that cleans up just visually, cleans up the edge just enough that you're not going to see the edge from a distance then. So that's a little hack that you can do, kind of just to clean up the edge of the figure here, just to kind of get a little bit of a cleaner appearance, like at a distance. Okay, so it's not necessarily, like strictly speaking, it's not necessarily needed, but hey Bones, there you go, man. He knows better than I do. Go follow him because he knows what the hell he's talking about. I guess the signs or the cameras just about in the right place. Boone knows better than I do about this stuff, but it's an easy way just to kind of visually clean up. And there are some cut marks around on the edge of this as well. And if you want to hide those, it's an easy way to do it too. Just to kind of clean it up just around the edge, just a little bit. And it really adds quite a bit, honestly. Because you're not looking at this stuff from like 6 inches away. You're looking at the stuff from a couple feet away. So it's just a nice way to kind of just get a little bit of a cleanup there. Holy crap. Look at all the folks. Jesus. 26 people. Thank you all very much for stopping by. Look at everybody here. Canyon, DeFingers, Stewart, Moss, Cheers, Reese, and Kevin, and Boone, and Michael, and Simon, and everybody. Yeah, everybody hit the like button, please, if you are so moved. It definitely helps the views on the channel. So anyway, Moss, this is a kit that a friend of mine makes. Racetrack Scenics. This is wood. This is laser cut MDF. It's, what is this, like 1/8 inch or quarter? Not even quarter inch. MDF and laser cut, and you glue it together. Nice little wood. They make 1/32, which is what this is, 1/43 and 1/64 scale little track, buildings, scenery, that kind of thing. So this is how's the eye? My eye's doing good. Yeah, so it's really really this stuff is really easy to put together. I usually put it together with a little Elmer's just to help keep it together. It's nice and heavy. It feels really good. And I bought some. Did I bring it in here? I don't know that I did. I bought some. No, I bought some paint, some acrylic paint at our Target, and I'm going to use that to paint up some of these. I'm maybe going to do like a little wash on it just to kind of weather it maybe a little bit. And Kevin mentioned that he's probably going to send me some other, some of the really awesome, the pit buildings, or not the pit buildings, the grandstands, maybe the curved ones he's going to send me a couple of. And I'm probably going to replace the Scalextric ones that I have over here. See if I can turn you all to so you can see. Oh, it's messy over there in the corner. But you can see I have 4 of the Scalextric grandstand buildings there. And I think it would be probably better to highlight the products of a smaller manufacturer. I mean, people know about the Scalextric stuff. Anyway, made in America. I'm all about that. We're all about that. I really appreciate it, guys. Wow, look at everybody here. Holy cow. Hey, Clint, cheers. Thanks, GT. Taylor, thanks for showing up. Chris, thanks for showing up. Everybody. So in the next day or so, I'm going to have a new video. Am I getting focused there? Probably. I'm going to have a new video about the NSR F1s that are out. These have been out for a little while, but I definitely did want to highlight the performance of the cars, especially right out of the box. The quality of the stuff is really nice. It's really not hard to tune. It's really easy to get going with this as a series. It's good quality stuff. Yes, it maybe costs a little more money than a little more basic car, but there's so much more to this car than being a basic car. I've talked about these cars quite a bit on the channel here, but I finally have more of a, I guess, an in-depth kind of drive review that I've done, that I posted initially. Hey, Dave S., cheers, thanks for showing up. That I've done a review and a late night laps kind of drive that I've done, that I posted on my Buy Me a Coffee, which is the tip service that I use. And most of my content is going to be posted there first, as a thank you to the folks that support me with just a single tip or ongoing support. You can subscribe for as little as like $5 a month, and that helps kind of encourage me to take time on my days off and to really keep the channel alive and going. And yeah, I really appreciate it. And as a thank you, I've been posting some of my stuff there first, not there exclusively, but there first. I don't want to do kind of exclusive stuff there because I want to have all the content available everywhere that I'm doing, because I like to give as much ride to the people that do send me stuff, because most of this stuff, honestly, I'm not going to lie, it was sent to me as a sample. I did not pay for it. So, I give people my honest opinion. If I don't have anything good to say about a car, I probably won't say anything at all about it. It's not that I try to find fault with stuff, but there's always some good points to a car. Even if a car is expensive, or if a car, might not meet exactly my expectations or my personal taste, there's a lot of options out there to play with. There's a lot of cars out there that, even if I don't necessarily like it as a theme or as a design personally, pretty much everything in the market does have someone that's there to enjoy it. So, I don't like being negative about stuff, because honestly, there's not really much point. Even where I am critical about things, I do like to point out, this is my opinion. It's based on working for a company. It's based on, kind of what I've done over the years, working in the market, working in the hobby, that sort of thing. When I do really like something, you guys know it. I'm honest with you about, what my opinions are about things. And I'm always going to be honest with you. You may not like or agree with what I have to say. I'm never going to lie to you. Anyway, folks, the NSR F1s, it's such and hopefully you get the Doppler effect here. We got Doppler. Oh wait, we got the mic. The mic is. Oh, hold on. It's gonna be a little loud here. Sorry. A little crunchy. We got the Doppler mic. Trackside mic. Test, test, test. We got Doppler mic there. So now we got our trackside mic in place. How's the sound? Pretty quiet. Pretty quiet, pretty good. It's a little rattly, I think. I think there's the axle. There's a little body rattle there, but generally speaking, the car is very quiet. I was really impressed with how little I had to do to get this car totally hooked up. The car really got hooked up, honestly, where'd it go? There it is. Sandpaper. When I took out some, what is this? Oh, this is made in China. That's unfortunate. It's sandpaper. It's probably, I don't know. It's actually fairly smooth. It's over 100 grit. Yeah. 100 and I don't know, 160, 180, something like that. So it definitely gives the tire a little bit of tooth. It's not going to leave it too terribly hairy, if you know what I mean. And to sand tires, it's not really the best way to show it. 300, yeah, I don't know that it's 300. Just lay the car down on the sandpaper on the track. Obviously, the guide is in the slot, and then just lift the car up slightly, and the back end will just kind of naturally rest on the sandpaper. Just hold the car in place. The car is basically barely touching the track. Here, you can listen. And most slot racers know about how to do a little kind of rough sand on the sandpaper, a little quicksand here. A quicksand. But that's kind of how I do it, fairly rough and ready. I do have a tire truer. I don't really use it all that much. Once I got the tires just a little sanded, the back tires just a little sanded, this car really got just incredibly hooked up. That's like the best value on the Polycar track, is that it just hooks up. Everything just crazy hooked up. Hey, Mickey, cheers. Thanks for showing up. Hey, Bill, thanks for showing up. Basically, any of the NSR cars are going to be that way. They're all going to hook way up. See how the Fiat's going to do here. Yeah, definitely going to be hooked up as well. I did give the track a little bit of a brush off. Not too much of one, though. The Fiat is a little top heavy, evidently, just like my real Fiat. But this car is definitely hooked up. And you can really feel with this controller, my sensitivity is the whole way up. My brakes are the whole way up. I turn my brakes down a little bit. Get a little more roll. Yeah. These tires, and there are flips. These tires absolutely are going to hook up. The stock NSR rubber is frankly the way to go with the Polycar track. So we had a whole lot of NSR arrivals, notifications, a bunch of kits arrived, the 9083s, the 9083 kits. The 9083 is this car. It's one of the bathtub Porsches. So the kits have arrived. The kits do have the wings on the back here, the kind of winglets. There was yellow, blue, red, and maybe green, I think. I'm sure and white. So there was 5 kits that just arrived, basically. The bodies come in color. They're not, there is one unpainted body, plain white body, but the other bodies come molded in color. So if you wanted to, you could just race the car kind of as is, just build it, and it would be a really great class for a club. These cars come with a 21.5K Shark. These cars are very, very, very drivable. These are superb cars right out of the box. I've done nothing to this car, just a little bit of oil, and this thing is just hooked up. It works very well on a tight, twisty turn track, just like the real car. I believe this was a Nürburgring car, but the car was basically a specialist on the Targa Florio, a track that had just a stupid number of curves. The Targa Florio was a track that was held on an island in just off of Italy, and it was this insane road course that I think the overall lap was, or the overall race was like 4 laps or 6 laps or something like that, because it just took so long to do one lap, and there were so many tight turns that very, very short wheelbase cars were specialists. And this car is a twisty, tight turn specialist. So if you're looking for, this would be a good home set car, because like my track is kind of typical or maybe a bit big for the average maybe home set owner, track owner, to have a track that's probably, my track is probably easily double the normal kind of home set that you buy right out of the box. I think I got to measure my track at some point. I think it's a little over 30 feet around. So it's kind of large, but not like, like for the clubs that I've raced with, the track that they would have, we would race on for them is, three times this big, at least 80, 90 feet around. So this car is really, even with the magnet out, again, Polo car track, high grip, you're going to get really good performance out of this car on a small track, just as it is. Just took the magnet out. That's really basically it. I don't even know how much. I haven't even really sanded the tires. You can still hear the kind of grip going around. The car kind of makes a little zippy sound when it goes around, because I think that's the tread on the tires. You can see it's kind of a little bit of a angle-ish winder. You can see there, tilted down a little bit. Yeah. It's this is a really great car. Again, especially for a small track. All the driving I do, racing, I guess, driving, whatever I do here is at 9 volts. So it's fairly low voltage. And I mean, you can easily get into trouble on this track if you wanted to. So even though it's only 9 volts, this car is right at home, and still has a fairly hot motor in it, but great car for this track. The Toyota recently did a review of this car. This car is definitely well behaved on this track. It's right at home. The rubber tires on here, I just did a little bit of sanding on them. Just did a little bit of oiling around here and there. Didn't really do much aside from that. Let me get out the MRRC car, because someone had asked, I don't know who it was. Was it you, Clint? No, I don't think it was Clint. Someone asked kind of how these cars stacked up against each other, and that's a fair comparison. They are very close in size, I would say. This wing keeps wanting to come off. Oh, yeah, this has got the Phillips screw on the bottom. So this is, I forget what RPM this motor is, 25, 30,000. It's hot. I'm not going to drive the car. Car's pretty much never been off the base, as far as I can remember. So this is Sidewinder. As you can see, this is the red can, the infamous red can that Scale Auto made. The cars are exactly the same wheelbase. The sideways car is a little more red as you can see, it is coming out actually pretty good. The colors you can see, it's definitely a little more red than the MRC car. I think that's probably correct. I've never seen the real car, so I can't tell you kind of exactly if one is technically more right than the other as far as details. I've only ever seen photos of these cars. They do seem, I mean, fairly similar in basically every way. Some of the details here and there are a little different, but there's not, well, actually, the tail lights are actually quite a bit different, as you can see. You can see that they're actually, the design is quite a bit different. I believe these are from the same race, so the cars should be fairly similar. They all have the same contingency logos on there. Hopefully you can see that. Oh yeah, the exposure is doing pretty well here. Hopefully you can see that pretty well. There you go. You can definitely see the difference in color. There is definitely, I mean, there's definitely going to be differences in the performance of these cars. Yeah, this car, the Scale Auto motor, the red can is just super hot and not really suited to a car like this with no motor pod. This car is really fairly old now. I really love. I'm really happy that I do have both examples of the car. But definitely the Celica. When this came out, my uncle actually bought one. My uncle Rob. My uncle's like my dad. My uncle helped raise me. Basically, my parents got divorced when I was really little, and so my uncle was around a lot of my life. He got me into slot racing when I was little, and excuse me, when we got into slot cars when I was an adult, or back when I got back into the hobby around 2000 ish, and he built a track, put back up his Revell track, and we started to get some home set cars to race on it, aside from just the cars that he had, the cars from the 60s. This was one of the cars that he bought. And we were like, what is going on with this car? The motor is just crazy hot, and we weren't able to do much with it. It wasn't really a lot of fun to drive. He built a wood track at some point, and we turned the power down, and it was still like just unmanageably fast. And it was a car we really both liked the look of. And so, there's a lot of personal reasons why I kind of really enjoy the Celica, and especially this livery, because this was the car he bought. So anyway, yeah, it was, oh no. So the skate park shirt, it's Lifland Park, LIF. It's a woman who donated to a local skate park. It's the first skate park in the area. So yeah, it was kind of hard to see. It's an LIF, Lifland Skate Park. And the Radical Ride, I just put a video up on the newspaper's Facebook page, and it'll be up there on the YouTube channel later today. I shot a video there because I'm really a big supporter of skating and bike riding. I think it's a really great activity for kids to do. Keeps them doing athletic stuff, and great for them to. It's a nice part of our community. So it was really. I never skated. I tried. I was terrible at it. I still have my skateboard down here. I painted up with Judge Dredd because I was really into Judge Dredd when I was in college and a kid. Anyway, so kind of dating myself there as far as the design. It was I always felt like I missed the whole skating thing, the skateboarding thing, because lived here in Pennsylvania and didn't live on the West Coast, where skateboarding, Southern California, where it was really, really big. Anyway, so getting the Celica was having the sample and getting it, and just having it be such a pleasure to drive was really, really awesome. And I was really happy to have this, have a good drivable, really sweet version of the Celica to be able to enjoy finally. So there we are, the Celica in all its glory. So smooth, so fast, and there's so many of these Group 5 cars that they've done. This is another one. This is, I believe it was the first Lancia that they did. This was a really, really great car. Hey, Richard, cheers. Hey, Cuthbert, cheers. Thanks for showing up. Thanks again, Travis. I really appreciate it. This was one of the first ones that they released, if not the first one. The beta. Or is this the beta? Yes, this is the beta. I really like the beta. It was one of my favorite cars from that era. And like I said, pretty much, I think this was the first one that they released. Oh, yeah, and this has super tires on it. Maybe quick slicks, but I'm not really sure. I had driven this at my club a bunch of times. It still has the magnet. The car was fast, and I don't know. Really do like these Group 5 cars. Big fat fenders on these guys. Really enjoying that. I have a couple of these. I have some. Oh, this is a. This is another one. I haven't done a whole lot. I need to do a proper kind of review and drive on the Escort here. This was the Zach Speed Escort. Again, give me big fat fenders or give me death. The same setup. This is another sideways car. There you go. The angle winder working there. I mean, just the Group 5 stuff. Just so many of these cars that were just so cool in real life that they can just keep cranking these out. Lion Face, cheers. They can just keep cranking these out forever as far as I'm concerned. Fat fenders, they make awesome, awesome slot cars. And there's so many cars that they can do still. Do I have another one here? No. Not really. I mean, this is sort of, yeah, this wing keeps on the Calisonic Skyline. Be careful of the wing here. This car, another, my JDM fetish, whatever going on there. Really love the Calisonic livery. This particular body, it's a little kind of awkward square looking, but I really just, I love this. I love these Nissans. I just absolutely love them. This car goes like hell, but because it's got so much rear overhang, it definitely wants to hang up on the tire the barriers down there. I always take the wing off before I drive it around. I don't want to break the wing. There you go. Exactly, boxy. Look at that guy. And the window's halfway down on the side there. Got that big fat back end. Talk about that ass, right? That cat meme, a favorite of mine. These things are just freaking awesome. I love these things. What are your favorite, your own favorites, guys? What series do you think that? Hey, Jim, cheers. Hey, Richard, cheers. What series or what cars do you think you'd like to see done more of? We've had an awful lot of Group C cars. We've had, we've had a fair number of Trans Am cars. We've kind of had most of the Trans Am cars that were done. The kind of the vintage Trans Am stuff. Most of those things. Pioneer Legends, yeah, they're good. They're awesome stuff. Pioneer makes some really, really great cars. They're, some of my favorites for sure. Group 5 GT3s, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of modern GT3 stuff that would be great. Hey, grandson of man, cheers. Thanks for showing up. I really appreciate it. JT 500. Oh, the Japanese touring car, the Japanese JGTC 500. That's the I believe this. I was going to say slot it. I wish. This Carrera Calisonic Nissan GTR. I believe this is a GT 500. So it's a Japanese kind of Japanese DTM, which probably is the wrong way to describe it, but it's kind of how I've thought about it. This car is a lot of fun. I changed the guide with a Slot Invasion monster guide. This thing is hooked up. Some wheels that I got from Slot Car Corner. These are the LMP. These are the 18-inch wheels. They fill out the wheel wells a little better. This car is just oh god, I just love this car now. Yes, it's a Carrera car. It's got a Carrera motor. It's the flat Carrera chassis, and so it's not a hugely fast car, but it's a really fun car. I have a thing for the Calisonic livery. I guess I just kind of happened. So I've been like hoarding up all the Calisonic livery race cars that I can, the Nissans that I can. Really into the Nissans for some reason, but I like to see some of those JGTC cars that Ninco did. I'd like to see an NSX done, like the last. It was the special NSX had like the cowl, the air intake over the driver the driving compartment, like on top of the greenhouse. There was only a handful of those cars made, and they were raced. Some of them were raced. I'd like to see some more of those Japanese JGTC cars done, the GT 500 cars and the GT 350 cars. Someone else, what Jim Carson says he wants a truck for Christmas. Very cool. A real truck or a slot truck, Jim? More under 2-liter cars. Yeah, Murray. Yeah, I got all kinds of a traffic jam going on, but only one lane because everything is pushed off to one lane, so I can at least get one lane of clear traffic. Yeah, under 2-liter. Here you go. In theory, under 2-liter MRRC Porsche 911 with the prototype of the Predator motor. One of the motors that I'm going to be giving away. Not that motor, but the Predator motors. Going to be giving those away. Hey, Jeff, cheers. Hey, I'm going to butcher this. Frapego Volvo 240. Well, talking about a Volvo, where did it go? This is a 240. I don't think. This is a S60R. This is an SCX car. It needs a little bit of. I gotta open this up and adjust the context because this car does not have great continuity. But this car, pretty much as is. I have the green one as well, and I've driven that one a lot at my club when I had done a lot of driving with the friends of my club. And this car really goes nicely. I believe Pendle do a 240. Oh, okay, very cool. Very cool. Hey, Bill, cheers. Very cool. Look at everybody showing up here. 66 folks. That's awesome. Philip Bender, very cool. Thanks for showing up. Yeah, so this is one of the few Volvos that had been done as a slot car, and I think SCX did a really banging job on this car. This car goes really nicely. Not this specific one. This needs a little bit of work, and this has an RX-42 in it, which is the super slow motor. It needs to Volvo Estate. I absolutely agree. The Volvo Estate would be a great car. Yeah, I would absolutely love to see that done as a slot car. That would be a really awesome car. Another car I would like to see done again is this little guy. And this one, I hesitate to even bring this out because this thing is... Thank you very much, Bill. I appreciate it. Yes, please like and subscribe. This car. There we go. This is the KMI Golf. This car is an awesome little car. As it was released, this car was a basket case from Spirit. I replaced the motor in there with a blue motor. This is about an 18K motor. It's got some spacers in there and adapters. It's got slotted black aluminum rear wheels. This is a little slower car, which is fine with me. This has a slotted guide in it now, and SCX Pro Braid, and rubber tires, and it still has all of its interior. Yes, it has all of its interior. This is a personal favorite because this my wife had a Rabbit. That was her first car. She had an '84 diesel Rabbit, and I mean, how can you not love those early Rabbits and Golfs? I really do, and I would absolutely love, love, love. I'm really hoping that Avant Slot brings back that molds. It looks like that Avant is bringing back a lot of the Spirit stuff, and I'm really hoping that this is one of the molds they bring back. Please, Avant Slot, if you're out there, bring back this mold. I'm sure I'm not the only one that would really, really love to see another version of this done, maybe a little bit updated version, something with a slower motor. Now, this car, I'm going to warn you, it's a little loud. It's not exactly the smoothest car, but I really enjoy it. Holy crap, Marlo, cheers. Thanks I really appreciate that. Sending along the tip. That really means quite a bit. Vicious little rodent. Yeah, exactly. This is not the fastest car in the world. This is also a pretty dirty car. But I've driven this car a lot. And this car is, I think they did a really good job with the shape of the car. And let's see how loud and awful this car is. I apologize in advance for what you're about to hear. Here, let's do the Doppler. Yeah, a little rocky, a little boxy, but this is the 14K motor or 15K. This is not a fast motor. That's okay for this car because, as we know, Golf is not an overly powered car. But this is a fun one. It's absolutely one of my favorite slot cars. It usually ends up in my box when I'm going somewhere just because it's so different. Nobody else has one of these things. They were super expensive. When Spirit sold them, they had a really big power, big boxer motor in it. So the car was very, very, it was difficult to drive. The wheels were not great quality wheels. It still has the stock wheels on the front, but I replaced the motor and the rear wheels, the axle in the rear, gears in the rear. It's got rubber tires. Let's do a little bit of a sand on these tires, shall we? Wake these tires up a little bit. I think these tires, oh yeah, that's a loud one. But it's actually fairly smooth. This car might need a little love. Might need some change the gears in this thing. Maybe try to quiet it down a little bit. But this is definitely there we go. Definitely, that woke it up a little bit. Getting that tired rubber off of there. That's the great thing about rubber tires, where you don't add any solvents to them. You don't add any goo. You don't add any glue, or you don't add any naphtha or Simple Green, oil and wintergreen to try to soften the tire. Just get a little bit of the harder, older rubber off of there, and the car really wakes up on this track. Like I said, I think this is like a 15K motor, and it's fast enough. I mean, you don't want this car. Oh, yeah, there we go. You don't want this car to be, too fast. It's it's a little slower car. So mine's one of the noisiest. Did you take my blender? Exactly. It's yeah, like I said, it's the original front wheels, and it's still the original interior in there. Um, I should probably do something with this car because this is just like, yeah, this car. I really love this car, and it's such an iconic VW, and unfortunately, no one's ever redone it, and it's just, I mean, all the Germans know this car. It's just a classic, a modern classic. Yeah, I'm really happy that I have the car. Anyway, um, what else do we have over here? Well, we have some Scalextric cars. Might as well whip these guys out. These guys have the magnets still in them, so I don't know about doing much of a drive with these. These are the set cars that came with one of the I think it was the American Classic set. And I got one of the sets as a sample when I worked at Scalextric, so I was really pleased to have these guys. These cars, I mean, these are just like evergreen cars. Scalextric did a really nice job, I feel, on these cars. I mean, I know there are purists out there. They're not exactly the right shapes, but I think they really did a pretty nice job capturing kind of the essence of these cars. And I'm happy to have them because these are like two of the, and I've seen the real Fulmer car, and I actually took this car. I'll post a photo of it. I think I did anyway, I posted a photo of this car, this exact slot car, with the real car when I was at Sebring the last weekend that I worked for Scalextric. I took these two cars down because I knew that the real car would be there, this real car. And I think it was the number 15. So I took the car down and I put it on the hood, and I got a couple photos with it. So it was kind of fun. But I mean, these are two of the most popular Scalextric cars that basically have ever been made. Why do I say that? Because these molds were released around 2001, 2002, and both of these molds are still in use, still in production. Every time there's a Mustang that's out, it sells out. It's literally sold out. This Mustang mold has sold out every single time that it's been put out now for about 20 years. That's essentially inconceivable in the slot car world, with the possible exception of the Carrera Winged Warriors, which were also released about the exact same time. But these have had far more releases than those cars ever will, because they release multiple of these cars. Usually every year that they've done them, they've done multiple molds of these, and they pretty much still release versions of these cars basically every year or two. There's another couple that come out. They can keep, and the good thing is now they can kind of redo some of these older ones. I've suggested that especially they bring out weathered versions of these cars that are like lightly weathered with a different part number. They like that idea when I work for them. So you never know. You might see something like that. You might see something like that coming in the future. So someone just Stuart Brabham. Never go wrong. Boone says never go wrong with a 60s Camaro or Mustang. Absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So Stuart Barham just asked, sorry, any thoughts on what the new NSR car might be? So I do have a guess or two. The problem is I don't want to say what my guess is because I was in a meeting with Andrea in a Skype meeting with or Zoom meeting, sorry, with Andrea and with LEB. LEB Hobbies is the sponsor of my channel and the news, and that's where I get, quite frankly, a lot of my samples from. And during that meeting, we talked about a lot of things with Andrea, and he specifically did not tell us what he mentioned that there was going to be a car coming out. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't tell us what it was, which was fine. But I also Not a 91730. There are not enough liveries of that, Robert. I don't think that he would do that. I mean, I definitely could be wrong. I My guess is that it's a I don't want to be too specific, just in case I'm right, and then I don't want Andre to be upset with me if I it's going to be a modern GT3 car, is my guess. That's going to be my guess. We had suggested a bunch of things to him, so I don't want to talk about the things I had suggested. There's a car or two. There's a car that I believe SCX is coming out with, based on a number of meetings and a number of suggestions that I had for them over the year or so that I kind of did some consulting for them. Yet I was never paid until right at the end, only for a little bit of the work I did, unfortunately. But I believe they're going to do my idea early next year for a car, an American car, not the C8R Corvette that they're now showing, which is going to be a car that they're going to be releasing this year, they've said. Will be interesting to see if they actually release it this year, and how it's going to be distributed. To the best of my knowledge, there's only a few slot dealers here in the U.S., and I put them in contact with all of these people. I gave them a whole list of dealers. I don't want to be too bitter about all this, but it didn't really come off very well in the end. So I don't know how the stuff is going to sell here, because I don't know. Well, I don't know how many dealers they've reached out to. So we will see how the C8R Corvette goes over here in the U.S. We will see. Modern GT3, Travis, is all I will say. I don't want to be too specific, but I think it's a modern GT3. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure Andrea told us that he wouldn't tell us what the car would be, but we talked about so many cars, and I talked about a number of very specific cars. So when I do consulting for people, even in this case when you want to know, even in this case when I've had kind of a falling out with SCX, I don't want to talk about the exact car that I've suggested to them, because it's their project, and it still remains to be seen if they're going to release the cars I suggested. So we'll see. So I just 70 holding partially specific clickbaiter. Yes. No, not a 65 Impala. Absolutely not. All of my clicks will be baited. I am a baiter who is a master. Sorry, I had to go there. I'm 12 on the inside. I say inappropriate things. Exactly. Yes. Thank you very much. I'll be here all week. Try the veal. Don't forget to tip your waitress. Yeah, I know that was incredibly inappropriate, but that is how we roll. Chevy Chevette. No vet. Chevy Chevette. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. A Gremlin, maybe. A Pacer, maybe. No. Sorry. Anyway, I think you're going to see what I've come away with. And I will say, what I came away with from talking with Andrea in the meeting is I go up against the golf. Is that I was incredibly impressed with Andrea's interest in the U.S. market and his attention and very specific questions, because it was about a 3.5 or 4 hour long call. The Skype, the Zoom meeting. I don't know why you keep calling it a Skype meeting. And I hadn't heard. I worked for a lot of companies, as you know, slot companies, and I hadn't heard as many specific. And this will make folks like Robert Hill very happy. I hadn't heard as many very specific, technical questions asked of me. And I know Andrea is he's a hardcore hobbyist. He's all about racing. He's all about that hobby life, that really hardcore slot racing life. And it was really gratifying. It was really soul filling. Like when I talk with Maurizio, like you can talk very specifically, very technically, obviously. You know, he's an engineer and he's a slot racer and he's like passionate about the hobby and a very technical guy. I mean, he's an engineer for God's sake. And Andrea is the same way. And it was just so nice, so pleasing, so frankly rare. There, I've said it, to hear him want to know my opinions, very specific, technical, you know, sidewinder, inline, suspension. You know, we talked about tire durometer, you know, the softness of the tires. We talked about motors. We talked about, you know, very, very technical things that, frankly, I haven't really had that kind of very technical discussion with. Other people that I've had that discussion with at other companies just haven't really had that very technical, really, really in the weeds, got the conversations that you guys and I would have. Like if we were all sitting around having a beer together, God, that would be awesome, wouldn't it? Just to sit around and talk like, you know, totally nerd out about gearing and about like controllers and, you know, what we want to see. And just, it was so awesome to have that kind of a conversation with another like-minded person. And I think we're going to see some really, really exciting new stuff that I'm not going to talk about, absolutely not going to talk about, that he kind of implied that he probably is going to do. And it just, there's a lot of good stuff going on in the hobby. And I think sometimes we can get maybe a little down, you know, we get kind of like, I'm not a fan of smash burgers. Vin, man, look at me, man. I'm an eater. I'm a fan of burgers, brother. Of course I am. Smash stand otherwise. So I think it's we're in a great time in the hobby. And like I said, even though it's easy to get, you know, down about pricing and down about, you know, things are late or it's not exactly what we want all the time, but you know, we really need to step back and frankly be grateful, you know, about having content like Travis is doing, like I'm doing to some extent, like Harry Wise is doing, like Massimo's doing, like Boone is doing. Boone is doing some awesome shit. And Travis is doing some awesome stuff. Everyone kind of doing their own thing and adding to the hobby in their different ways. I mean, I just add to the hobby, really. I mean, I do some reviews here and there, but it's just news I'm talking about. You know, I'm surprised, frankly, as many people tune in as do. And it's not, you know, I just think there's so much good stuff going on now. And we've all been able to connect through YouTube and through message boards. You know, I mean, there's just so many people out there making good content. Massimo out there doing content and Marty out there doing content. And I mean, there's just so many people. I can't even freaking list them all. And just a bunch of guys in Australia. Just so much going on there. And it just, I think we just, every once in a while, just not get down about the things that like upset us and try to pull back a little bit and think, okay, there's a lot of good stuff here, and just take stock of the good stuff that we have. I mean, like we've been getting these cars, like these Trans Am cars, for literally decades now, you know, 20 years. We've been getting, these are good quality cars. Say what you want. You know, I know people have their issues with Scalextric. I do not want this turn into like bashing anybody, any one brand. That is not what I really am here to do, because I do think everybody makes good stuff in different ways. But we've been getting these good quality cars for 20 years from Scalextric. And I think they deserve a little bit of credit for that. deserve a lot of credit for that, and a lot of thanks, basically. Hey, Rox. Hey, Dewan. Cheers. Uh, Boone is a scenery whisperer. Yeah, man, he's a inspiration to everybody, quite frankly. You know, so there's a lot of really good stuff. Hey, Mark, cheers. What's up with digital chips for SCX cars? No problem, Boone. We gotta get you and me and Travis and everybody else. We need to get on a live chat soon and just talk about like kind of the stuff that inspires us and talk about whatever. Who the hell cares? I mean, just talk. So digital chips for not only SCX but for Scalextric and Carrera are going to continue to be an issue for at least another full year. I've been saying this for a while now, and I want to emphasize to folks that this is not getting better anytime soon. We are not going to turn this into a bashing situation for any one country, even though I would prefer things to be made in America. But digital chip shortages are going to continue for at least another year. Pricing is going to be high on the chips. When they do come back in, I think they'll probably end up raising prices. I don't know that for sure. I'm not trying to fan any rumor flames here, but supply and demand. Less supply, high demand drives up pricing. That's just basic economics, guys. So I think quality goes down, the price goes up. Price is going up because of a number of situations. Anyway, but I did definitely take your point. Absolutely take your point. Yeah, $42, but I mean, they actually have them for the Carson chip for Carrera. Carrera digital chips, they've been out for a while. Scalextric chips have been out for a while. I think I was probably the one that sold the last or some of the last batch of chips to Great Traditions in Philadelphia, gtslotcars.com, Great Traditions, Lakota Collectibles on the eBay. They're friends of the channel, folk. I've been dealing with Rich forever. So I definitely think that, digital chips are going to be an issue, not just for SCX. SCX doesn't have any U.S. distribution at this point. That was something I was going to be working on with them before they kind of decided that they didn't really want to act in good faith to some extent. So with me, that is. So anyway, it's going to take a little while for digital chips to get back in stock until some companies get good distribution here in the U.S. I mean, at the moment, SCX has none. They do have some dealers that have sold some stuff that do have some stuff in stock, but definitely going to be hey, Kevin, cheers. Thanks for showing up. Hey, Tony, thanks for showing up. I definitely woke car. We're not going to start that here. Sorry, Robert. We're not going to discuss. We're not going to jump into hot button topics. Okay, enough said. I definitely think it's going to be an issue for another year. That's why I think it's a great time for analog slot racing, for us to work on the kits that we can get, the American stuff that we can get. Support homegrown companies. If you're in the UK, Magnetic Racing. If you're in the US, Racetrack Scenics. I do have a Magnetic Racing building. Hopefully this guy's going to stay up. It's not. I got to build a little bit of a base for this guy because my indoor-outdoor grass is a little sketchy here. So, there's definitely it's a good time to do analog racing, a really good time to do scenery stuff. We have a lot of stuff available to us that we do have. We do have a lot of good cars available to us. We do have a lot of good slotted parts, NSR parts, scale auto parts. There are plenty of parts out there. There are plenty of good scenery pieces out there that are kits to make yourself. There's a lot of ways to enjoy the hobby. Let's not focus on what we don't have because we have so much. When I visited LEB, I was impressed with the amount of parts that they have. They have a full bunch of and sideways parts. I mean, there's so many sideways parts actually that LED have as well. Check out those parts, the NSR parts, the Scale Auto parts, in addition to the slotted stuff. There's so much stuff out there, guys. And I think we get a little too focused on what we don't have sometimes and get upset about that, myself included. I tend to be a little bit of a negative Nelly. But yeah. Anyway, guys. So anybody have any final thoughts here? We have a lot of interesting stuff that's shown up recently from NSR. If you do want to support the channel, this is the aged out of a hobby. How is that impossible? Any word on more Mid-America kits? As a matter of fact, yes. It's possible. I don't want to speak for Roger at Mid-America, but I think he's been happy with the response to the kit, and hopefully you'll see more. I don't, he will talk about that. I'm not going to talk about any conversations that I have with Roger, other than to say he was very happy with the video that I did. I was very happy with the initial video. I do need to finish the kit. I haven't really had a lot of time in the evenings when I've been done with work, or in the mornings I've been doing a lot of stuff for LEB and a lot of other stuff for work. So I haven't really had a time to finish the kit up yet, but it's going okay. Best way, Mickey, to quiet down Revo slot gear mesh. Just do a lot of John Albright had a pretty good video about that. Follow him on Facebook. He had a good video about the way he adjusts. And there's the mesh. There's a lot of good help out there on the message boards about that. It just takes a lot of adjustment. I mean, if you have one of the Escorts, you definitely need to replace the gear with a different rear gear, because the pinning gear rather, because the what was it, a 10 or a 12 tooth? I forget what it was now. Replace it with a 9-tooth, inline 9-tooth SCX gear, and the car is reasonably quiet. I still have to do a little bit of fine adjustment, but the car, it's a 12. Yeah, exactly. Richard asks about was that Richard? Yes, about the MR slot car Shadow. No news about that, although I'm hopeful that we will see photos. I need to reach out to Ernie Massetti about that. See if there's any photos of updated, like painted samples on that car. Haven't seen anything yet, but I'm really hoping that there will be soon, because I'm hoping that car comes out before Christmas. That would be really awesome. If it doesn't, what are you going to do? It'll come out soon enough. We'll all be very happy with it, myself especially. Any news on the Fly Transit? No, I mean, I just reported about that a week or 2 weeks ago, just showing that they have a CAD file that they're working on. If they're in that stage, it'll probably be, kind of middle of next year, I'm thinking. Till they get sorry about the coughing, guys. Till they get the transit kind of in the works to get production up, that sort of thing. We'll see it. We'll have it soon enough. Anyway, guys, so we're at about an hour now. If you haven't given the live stream a thumbs up, please do so. If you liked what you did, if you liked what you saw, if there are things you'd like to see me improve or change, be kind, because this is kind of a hobby for me as well. I'm not really, doing this it takes a lot of time to do these things. If you have a suggestion, I'm open to suggestions. And definitely cheers, Billy. I really appreciate it. Thanks for showing up. I really, it means quite a bit. Give it a thumbs up. And if you want to send a tip to the Buy Me a Coffee, that helps me do things like improve the lighting. I'm going to work on the lighting in here a little bit. And there's always something new to check out, some new software to work with. And all that costs money. It's spent a lot of money on getting lighting and sound issues down here. So I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you, everybody, for the likes, the shares, the comments. I'm going to be doing the giveaway for the Predator motor at the end, I believe the end of this week. Yes, I think it's the end of this week I'm going to be doing that. And you'll be notified. I'll contact you through Facebook or here on YouTube. Please reach out to me. If you don't get back to me within the day or so, I'll kind of consider it that either you didn't want it, or I think if you entered, though, if you shared the video from the notification of the contest, obviously, hey, Brad, cheers, Slot Car Man Cave. Yeah, so I really appreciate it. Thank you all for stopping by. It really does mean a lot. Thanks for the likes, the shares, and comments, guys. And I will see you all again very soon.